is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going. What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. We gonna talk about the Eastern Conference just because at the end of the day, the playoffs has a potential date, and we all want it back. Plus, the Heat, the team that I want to talk about, really don't have to do much as they already are a playoff team. Not only that, they're a team that got a lot of respect this year. Two All-Stars, Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Buckets on the team. You trade for Andre Iguodala, who has been one of the biggest difference makers in the playoffs the last couple years, being a great defender, being a switchable defender, being able to make plays, whether it's shooting a three that's big, making a big defensive stop like we done seen last year, or even just making the right pass and getting out in transition and doing those small little things that he does that can help impact winning or turn the course of a game or of a moment to the favor of the team that he's on. Plus, you got Jimmy. Jimmy has had highlights in the playoffs, but he has also never made it far in the playoffs, especially as the man. He made it to the playoffs with the Chicago Bulls, but they went up 2-0 and lost 4 straight. And he went to the playoffs with the Minnesota Timberwolves. That didn't work out the way he wanted to. He got out of the first round last year with the Philadelphia 76ers, but they was one game away, a couple seconds away from potentially going to the Eastern Conference Finals with him as the best player, and he ended up falling to Kawhi Leonard. If Kevin Durant and Kyrie don't come back, it's no real big threat other than Toronto and Milwaukee to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, but Miami's going to have to play one or the other to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they match up well against them both. Not only that, they have a pretty good regular season against the Milwaukee Bucks, beating them twice this year. I think they're the only team to beat the Milwaukee Bucks twice this season, and that's a hell of an accomplishment, showing how much that the Bucks have been excellent. Even though they started sliding in the end, the Heat caught them at the right time in the beginning and at the middle of the season and showed that they can compete and wasn't scared or afraid of those guys. And they went to war with them and ended up coming out the winner. So when I look at the Heat, I think they're a team that's very interesting. They're well coached by a championship coach in Eris Spoelstra. They have the shooters in Robinson and Tyler Hero. They have the guy that can do it all in Jimmy Butler, who can step up in big moments, defend the other guys' best players. Not only that, make plays. He became a better passer this year, a more trusted teammate. He respects his teammates. He believes in his teammates, and he allowed them to do their thing without stepping on their foot and getting in the way. I wanted Jimmy Butler to come out and be a killer this year, and instead he got his 20 points per game, but he showed a well-rounded season this whole season. And I think that this is a team that people might underrate or sleep on because a lot of people don't believe in Jimmy Butler being the best player on a championship team. A lot of people think he's a great player, potential top 10 and top 15, but other than that, they don't really think he's going to be a dominant force. And I think this is the perfect way to show, because I honestly didn't have Jimmy Butler in my All-NBA team this year, but he was definitely in the conversation. But I think this is a great playoffs where he's rested. He has time to work on his body. They already have a lot of good chemistry this year. They already have proven that they can defend, that they can score decent enough to be a competitive team. And this is a team that can slow it down, that can switch. And they have so many defenders and so many guys that can fill so many roles and guys that fit and play well together in different type of lineups, giving them versatility and sometimes different dynamics that other teams don't have. And Kendrick Nunn has shown that he is ready for the big moment, being a starter majority of the season and being a quality player at best at that starting point guard position. Gordon Dragic was the guy that had an argument for being Sixth Man of the Year this year. He took that role role, didn't complain, didn't mope. He just went out there and balled and did his thing. And I think that that's very important, especially when you want guys to embrace their role. He was able to do that. Plus, he was able to have a decent season for his style and for how he plays. And then you look at guys like Solomon Hill. He's interesting. Myers Leonard is interesting. Kelly Olynyk done had some big games even against the Washington Wizards a couple years back. As a guy that can space the floor, post up from time to time, but also set good screens and make great passes. So they have the role players around Jimmy Butler and Bam. Bam is a guy that's a great defender, tough guy, can guard the Joel Embiids, can guard the Giannis with help, and he's a guy that communicates and rotates and makes sure he can stay in front of his guy or help his teammates. Not the biggest, longest, tallest guy, but he gets the job done. He does the small little things just like Iguodala, getting in the blocks, getting the steals, making the pass, getting out in transition and running the floor, or just setting great screens and making great passes to teammates to get open opportunities, good looks, and also giving them opportunities to knock down spot up threes. I think Jimmy Butler, that's something that they're going to give him a lot in the playoffs. They're going to let him shoot threes just so they don't have to worry about him causing a lot of chaos getting into lanes and trying to get that mid-range jumper. He has to be willing to take those and he has to knock those down. He has shown the ability to be a decent to okay three-point shooter, which is better than being a bad three-point shooter, but he's going to have to let that thing fly a little bit more in the playoffs. I think Bam has to continue to grow, develop, and be more aggressive as you are now an all-star. People know what your game is. People know what you're trying to do. People know you're not going to shoot, so they got to figure out a way how to keep Bam active and engaged throughout the whole game just because he's a guy that can disappear offensively. And even though he's never been a 20 and 10 type of guy, he has continued to grow and continue to develop and continue to improve his game. I don't see why he cannot elevate his game to another level in the playoffs, and I look forward to seeing that potentially happening as they're going to need that if they want to beat teams like Toronto and the Bucks and get to the Eastern Conference Finals or even the NBA Finals, because I think this is a team that people sleep on within the Eastern Conference because I like Indiana, but Oladipo hasn't been the same, and Brogdon has not been the dominant player that I thought he could be. I like the Celtics, Jason Tatum, Kemba, and them. They're interesting, but they are still young, and they do have the ability to go deep because they went to the Eastern Conference Finals before without Kyrie Irving. But this is a different team. We don't know how Kemba Nees is going to be. They make a lot of minor mistakes within the fourth quarter that can either cost them because of bad shot selection, turnovers, or not being able to execute. So I still have questions for them. Even though they have the talent to compete with these teams, they still have a little naive and a little bit more maturing and growing to do if they really want to be taken as a serious contender in the Eastern Conference. And then, of course, you have the Philadelphia 76ers. We don't know what type of Ben Simmons is going to come. We don't know if they're going to gel well enough to score the ball consistently enough against the Torontos, the Bostons, and the Miami Heat in the playoffs. And if you can't score, you're going to have a hard time winning games, especially when other teams have go-to wings or other players that can contribute more than Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. We know they can defend, but their defense haven't been what we thought that it would be coming into the season. And Joel Embiid hasn't been as dominant. Ben Simmons has looked fantastic, but like I said, he's coming off a back injury that we don't know if can get re-aggravated. We don't know if he can be dominant offensively, and we don't even know if they can figure out how to get past the better teams just because they're just as good as the Sixers, and they don't have that advantage that they had last year over other teams of talent. But that's what I think they got to figure out a way to see how Ben Simmons is going to play. Tobias Harris is going to have to step up, and Joel Embiid, he hasn't really played well in the playoffs basically ever, so they're going to need him to do that. But a lot of the teams that's great in the East, they have big men that can stay with them and defend them and make things tough and ugly, meaning that the Sixers might not be as scary as people think or thought coming into the season or even in the playoffs. So what I'm basically saying is Bam and Jimmy, they both have took less, done less for the betterment of the team, but they both have been exceptional as team players, as leaders, and as guys that really set the tone in the culture and the organization foundation as a team in the unit. And with with the right pieces plugged into this team, they have been a team that has been very dominant, way better than a lot of people thought that they would be. And they have been a team that you have to respect because they're going to earn it or they're going to force you to do it with their way and their style of play. So now I'm just interested in seeing what's going to happen with this team and what's going to happen in the playoffs, and if Jimmy Butler can finally lead a team to the Eastern Conference Finals. I know it's going to be tough. I know it's not going to be easy, but hey, this is the playoffs. This is where the legends are made. This is where you make your name. This is where you go out there and show what you're really made of. And if you're either a great team, a championship team, a elite team, or just another team, we won't really know until the playoffs start. But one thing I do know is they have the veterans, they have the shooting, they have the scoring, they have the coach, they have the star, they have the good complementary players off the bench that can do multiple things and give them more versatility and diversity in their lineup. So at the end of the day, they have everything they need to be competitive. Now they just need to go out there and compete and get it done. Other than that, I want to do the Western Conference tomorrow, so if you're not subscribe to check out my older videos. And if you like those videos and you like this video, subscribe and become part of the family. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com, link in the description, comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com, link in the description, comment section below. Like on Facebook to show support. Like the video to show support. If you already like, thanks for the love and support. Also share. It helps the channel grow. I also made breakdowns. I also made breakdowns of players, rookies, and legends. So check that out on my channel. I made discussions just like this. Not only do I make discussions, I talk about free agency, trade deadline, season previews, even the playoff predictions, which is going to come too. So if you love basketball, you can't get enough, and you want something fresh and new every day, this is the channel for you. So subscribe and become part of the family. Thanks for supporting me no matter how you do it. Quinn Wade, basketball analysis going out, and it's my sleeper team from the Eastern Conference.